To do YouTube is still alive, and we back with another one, man. And we back for the last stream of the night. And I've watched some Wizards MJ. I watched him when they would compete against. I've watched the highlight games where he's competed against the Lakers and when he played in the All-Star games and shit when he was on the Wizards. But I haven't watched a lot of MJ's Washington Wizards play. So, and I seen this video popped up, and I was like, you know what? Let me see how good MJ really was on Washington. Like, I know he was a good player still, even though he was old. You know what I mean? So we're going to find out how good Washington Wizards MJ really was. And make sure y'all drop any more videos in the comments if you guys want me to react to. And let's get into this.
The Last Dance was one of the hottest documentaries this year, even though the real Last Dance of Michael Jordan happened 5 years after the story in the doc. In 2001, Jordan unretired for the second time and suited up in a blue Wizards jersey. Some people say that his 2 Wizards years tarnished his legacy, and some praised MJ even more. So what's the real truth? And how good was Jordan in Washington?
He was good.
Was he really washed?
No.
Or did he prove once more that he's the GOAT? Watch the rest of the video to find out.
He really was not bad at all in Washington, and it was 5 years later after he retired. He sat around for 3 years not playing basketball. You know how fast your body goes away when you sit around at that age for 3 years, from 1998 to 2001?
After The Last Dance. In 1998, MJ and Phil Jackson went to the karaoke bar, and Jordan chose The Careless Whisper by George Michael and sang, "I'm never gonna dance again, the way I danced with you," looking gently in Phil's direction. Okay, I totally made that up, but Jordan indeed said
He said, okay, I totally made that up.
that he wouldn't be playing unless it's for Phil Jackson, since the Bulls GM Jerry Krause didn't want to re-sign Phil, and Scottie Pippen wanted to get his first massive paycheck. The Bulls fell apart, and
Which
MJ
he deserved. I admit, Scottie deserved it. He had helped them win 6 fucking championships. He deserved a max contract also.
He fulfilled his promise and retired for the second time. And then in January of 2000, Michael came back to the NBA, but he didn't wear a jersey. Instead, he slipped into a suit and tie as a minority owner and president of basketball operations for the Washington Wizards.
Okay.
The team was bad and finished that year with a 29-53 record. And they got even worse next year with 10 wins less. But there was hope on the horizon. They got the #1 pick. MJ had the chance to get a blue-chip prospect, and he famously opted for Kwame Brown, the #1 high school player in the country. Jordan saw something in Kwame, and he believed he is the cornerstone that will immediately turn the Wizards into a winning ball club. Also, he knew a guy pretty good at basketball, a guy who was on the floor with the team at every practice and who was itching to make another comeback. It's an itch that still needs to be scratched, and I want to make sure
It's an itch that still needs to be scratched. Is crazy. Crazy.
itch doesn't bother me for the rest of my life. I'm just going to play the game of basketball that I love. It's not about the money. Indeed, it wasn't about the money.
Yeah, and it wasn't about winning championships. He was actually out there to have fun and play basketball for the first time in his life. You know what I mean? Every time before that, it was about being the best player ever. This was, of course, it was about winning. Michael Jordan was a competitive person. He wanted to win at all costs. But nobody thought MJ, like, they didn't have championship, like, pressure on their shoulders. He was out there able to just have fun for the first time in his life.
Jordan the GM gave Jordan the player the smallest salary on the Wizards, and MJ gave all of it to the victims of the 9/11 terrorist attack. It really was just about the game for him. And because of that competitive fire that never ceased to burn, and that voice in the head who kept telling him he is still better than the young guys who took over the league from him. How good were the Wizards? The Wizards had a young Richard Hamilton, who was in his 3rd year, and who was turning to be one of the most promising shooting guards in the league.
Okay.
And that was about it when it
I never heard that name before.
comes to quality players with potential. The rest were either older veterans on their way out, or young role players. Of course, there was also Kwame Brown, who, by the time the season started, was already crushed by Jordan, who insulted him at any chance he got. Jordan never changed his ways, and just like he trash-talked all of his opponents, teammates, and Jerry Krause, he was maybe even worse to Kwame. A 19-year-old kid couldn't take it, and he played with zero confidence and was basically unusable on the court. Nobody on the team averaged more than 10 points that year. other than Rip Hamilton and Jordan. The Wizards were the same team that won 19 games the year prior, plus Jordan and Kwame. MJ thought it would be enough to be competitive, but he overstated his team and himself. Return of the Mac. Before the season, Jordan was working tirelessly to get himself in shape.
Yeah.
He trained.
Yeah, of course. Your body, after sitting around that long, your body's going to be nothing compared to what it was when you won your championship in 1998.
Every day with his personal trainer, Tim Grover, and held private training camps with various NBA players to get himself in game shape. So, when the season started, Jordan wasn't rusty. In the first 2 weeks of the season, Jordan scored over 30 in 4 of his 8 games.
Okay, MJ. Okay, MJ.
In the 9th, he poured 44 on the Jazz, picking up right where he left off in 1998. After the first 10 games, he averaged 27.4 points.
Okay, MJ.
6.3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals.
MJ was still putting up numbers. I don't know how old he was at this point, but he was putting up numbers on these boys.
It seemed like he had never left, as his stats were virtually the same to the 1998 regular season.
That's crazy.
He was in the MVP race and made it easy for the
That's crazy.
world to fall in love with him once again. However, his play wasn't reflected in the team record, as the Wizards only notched 2 games in the win column. They started the season 5-12 and were at the bottom of the
He proves that he was still one of the best players in the league, though, even after sitting out for years. Yeah, his team wasn't good, but he was still great.
Eastern Conference. Also, Jordan's stellar play at the beginning of the season wasn't sustainable at the age of 38.
No.
He was still Michael Jordan, but he wasn't Air Jordan anymore.
No.
Or at least not all the time. And even though his totals were still looking good, Mike became an inefficient volume scorer on a bad team. He shot 40% in those first 17 games.
Facts.
A landslide from his career average of 50%.
Facts.
MJ was still fundamentally sound. He could still see every play, and he was still 6'6", strong and confident, but he didn't have the same speed.
No.
And he didn't have the legs under him to shoot efficiently.
And he didn't have the same team.
If you know anything about Jordan, you know that he hates losing more than anything. After those 17 games and a 5-12 record, the Wizards won 9 in a row. Then they lost a couple, and in the second of those 2 losses, MJ had the worst game of his career.
Damn.
In 25 minutes on the floor, he shot 2 out of 10
Damn.
and finished the game with 6 points, which snapped his record 866 game streak of double-figure scoring, and the media went ballistic. After the game, Jordan was down on himself. On the bus ride from the arena, he sat next to Doug Collins, whom he hired to be the coach, and asked him, "Do you think I can still play?" Collins said, "Yeah, of course. I only took you out because we were down by 25 in the 4th and wanted to keep you fresh for the next game." MJ was satisfied and said he did the right thing, but he needed the confirmation and the assurance that his coach still believed in his abilities. 2 nights later, he responded in a big way. He scored the first 3 times he had the ball, and he finished the game with 51 points.
51. He said, bro, I had a bad game, but I'm still Michael fucking Jordan. That's what's up, MJ. That's what's up. Scored 6, had a terrible game. He's like, you know what? Nah, fuck that. I'm still Michael Jeffrey Jordan, bro. I'm going to drop 51 next game. Hell yeah. 2 days later. That's
going 21 for 38 from the field. He was the oldest player ever to score 50 in an NBA game.
That's
He followed
crazy.
that up with a 45-point, 10 rebounds,
Crazy.
7 assists, 3 steal effort against the New Jersey Nets.
Can you imagine if he actually had a good team around him where he didn't have to try to drop this many points? He probably, am I saying MJ would have won a championship? No. I'm not saying MJ at this age could have won it. Possibly, but I'm not saying if he had a good, you know what I mean? But what I am saying is if he had a good team around him, they could have still been like a solid team.
Including scoring 22 points in a row during one stretch.
Crazy.
In the game against the Cavaliers, the Wizards were down by a point with 1.6 seconds left. Michael then hit a mid-range jumper for the last buzzer beater of his career. In a game
Crazy.
against his former club, after enduring Ron Mercer's trash talk and having his jumper blocked, he responded by pinning Mercer's layup against the backboard
Two-handed.
with 2 hands and trash-talking him on the way back up the court. It was a game-winning play and one of the most spectacular blocks by Jordan, or anyone for that matter. It was even more impressive that
The
it was
trash talk after, like, bro, you played with me. You know who the fuck I am. I'm Michael fucking Jordan, bro. Don't fucking talk shit to me.
was done by a
I don't care.
39-year-old.
I don't care if I'm 39 years old. I'm still fucking better than you.
Who spent his last 3 years playing golf, drinking, and smoking cigars. By the end of the season, Jordan notched back-to-back 40-point games, but also 4 more games where he failed to reach double figures. And that's where the answer lies about Jordan's time with the Wizards. Yeah, he could still play, and yes, he could still be dominant, but it wasn't the kind of dominance we grew accustomed to.
No.
And it didn't happen every game.
No.
Jordan finished the year early due to a knee injury that required surgery, and the Wizards didn't make the playoffs with a 37-45 record. MJ played 60 games in the 2001-02 season, and he averaged 23 points, 5.7 rebounds,
Thanks.
and 5.2 assists. Those numbers look great in a vacuum, but when you look at Jordan's efficiency, you can quickly tell he didn't have an overly successful season.
No.
Jordan took 22 shots per game, far more than he should have for a player shooting 41% from the floor and 19% from three. He was second to last in effective field goal percentage out of all players who qualified for the stat, and 169th out of 170.
Yeah, he was old and out of shape. He was still great. He was still Michael Jordan, and you could see it, but he was never, you know what I mean? And he had a shitty team around him, so he probably felt like he had to try to carry him.
Qualified for true scoring percentage. The real last dance. In the offseason, Jordan the GM wanted to help Jordan the player. He traded the best young player on the team, Rip Hamilton, for a more experienced Jerry Stackhouse. Trading away Hamilton was a mistake, and Jordan once again proved his short-sightedness in making decisions. The team wasn't that much better, and the season went pretty much the same as the last. Jordan, who was a year older and was battling a lingering knee injury, still had some juice left, but he had to squeeze really hard to get a full cup, and it didn't happen all the time.
Yeah.
He scored over 43 times, becoming the first 40-year-old to score over 40 in an NBA game.
Fact.
He also had 7 more games where he failed to score 10 points. His defense wasn't at the level it once was.
Can you imagine, though, if he had the same team that LeBron had at Lakers at 40? LeBron had a great team around him last year. He did. Whether anybody wants to admit it or not, the Lakers were a great team, especially even after Luka got hurt. The Lakers were still a great team.
And numerous players took the opportunity to put up numbers against Jordan, something that was unimaginable in previous years. Kobe dropped 55 on him after Jordan
Crazy.
taunted him.
This is when Kobe was fake punching Jordan in the chest when Jordan was laying on the ground.
That he could wear the shoes, but could never fill them. Michael was more rational with his shots in the second year and shot 44% from the floor, and it was enough for 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 3.8 assists for the season.
Okay.
Jordan played in all 82 games.
Oh,
But once again,
bro, that's the shit that, even at 40 years old, bro, LeBron is not playing in all 82 games. Michael Jordan just had knee surgery the year or this offseason before and still played in all 82 games at 40 years old. That's toughness, bro.
the team went 37-45 and didn't make the playoffs. The highlight of the year was definitely the All-Star game, where MJ was selected as a reserve after he rejected the offer from Allen Iverson and Tracy McGrady to take their starting spots. He ultimately accepted it from Vince Carter. At halftime, Mariah Carey performed a special tribute to him, donning dresses of both his rookie year Bulls jersey and his final year Wizards jersey,
Okay.
as his career highlights played on giant screens behind her. It was a proper send-off, worthy of a star that was Michael Jordan. In the game itself, MJ didn't shoot it particularly well, but he did score 20 points, and most importantly, hit a tough fall-away jumper over Sean Marion
Okay.
to give the East the lead
Heck yeah, MJ. See, at 40 years old, MJ was really a dog still.
with less than 5 seconds to play. It appeared to be a game winner, but the West scored again and prevailed in overtime. Still, Jordan proved that he still belongs with the best players in the world, at least for one game, even though it was clear he wasn't the best anymore.
Yeah.
A mediocre dessert to a great meal. If you want a recap of Jordan's time with the Wizards, you'll get different answers depending on who you ask. Jerry Stackhouse said that he wished he had never played in Washington because everything was still going through Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
even though it was obvious he wasn't the same player anymore. Kwame Brown was miserable during Jordan's years there, and his career would have certainly been better if he didn't play with MJ as a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
The Wizards owner Abe Pollin wasn't thrilled with Jordan either, and he relieved him of his GM duties shortly after the last season of Jordan as a player. If we compare Jordan's last years to some of the other NBA greats, we'll see some similarities. The greatest players who ever did it, if they took care of their bodies, were still extremely effective at an advanced age. Tim Duncan was named to the All-NBA and All-Defensive team in 2015 at the age of 39. Kareem made the first team All-NBA in '86, also aged
Kareem was straight looking like a grandpa out there playing basketball.
39. And he averaged 26 points in the playoffs that year. Karl Malone averaged 28 and 5 at the age of 39. So it's not unusual that Jordan was still able to play. But maybe the best quote about Jordan's Wizards years came from his agent, David Falk. I just don't think it was a good dessert to a great meal. In the words of De La Soul, Mike was certified hot, and then he dropped to lukewarm. However, that last 2 years didn't affect his legacy. And the unathletic Jordan, who had to pump fake 3 times to get a separation for a shot, was soon forgotten. People like to remember the good things. And the lasting image of Jordan will always be that shot over Russell and celebrating his 6th title.
1998 was the end of MJ's career as the best player in the world. You know what I mean? When he came back, there was nowhere he was going to be anywhere close to what he was. He sat around, smoking, like you said, drinking and smoking and eating and playing golf for 3 years.
With a cigar in his mouth.
Man, but he was still great at 39, 40, and 41 years old on the Wizards. And that's crazy. You know what I mean? He was still a great player. But man, make sure y'all drop a like, comment, subscribe, and any video.